Hi everyone, welcome back. So this is my second video that where I usually want to share my new findings and whatever I'm doing with Dynatrace MCP server. So I hope first video you liked it, and this time I have come up with few things where it is not more of a code change, it is more of how we can utilize MCP server. Okay, see, just imagine a scenario where when you start your day and you log in to see, uh, it's like you want to start a day with a productive manner, right? And you need something from you, like as a report, or maybe a bug report, it can be not also bug, it can be many different type of report like a problem report or the environment health check reports, or sometimes you just want a simple problem explanation that with root causes, so what exactly happening in last 24 hours or maybe at night when you are asleep, right? So these type of things we can achieve from Dynatrace MCP server. So which some of you might already know about it, where Dynatrace has a rich set of integrations to do it, like whether it can be a Slack integration, whether it can be a Jira integration, whether even it can be a Teams integration. Based on the data that Dynatrace has and based on the AI capabilities which Dynatrace has, based on its predictive and causal AI, Dynatrace is able to detect problems in your environment based on the data that you feed in, right? So that data can be integrated with multiple channels. But now when it comes to MCP server, how easy it is going to be, right? Now you have an integration, it creates a ticket, or by default, what happens with the default integration is it creates a ticket, right? Here, from directly while we are developing the code from VS Code itself, we can straight away send that report to concerned channels in Slack. Let it be a security team or a bugs team, or it can be a ops team. We can send a health report to. So we can do that with just a simple prompt and proper integrations. So this is what I'm going to show as a demo today. So I hope you will enjoy it. And if you have any doubts, so feel free to ask me. Okay, so I'll share my screen now. Okay, here I have my Visual Studio setup. In this, all right, it's okay. In this setup, especially what I have here is I have created few prompts already, which are pre built prompts, which you can use or you can modify the prompt based on your requirement, right? In my repo, the prompt MD file is there, so you can use that prompt to get more details about it. Like here are four different prompts that you can use. One is for say bug fixes in the code if there are any bugs using copilot. Copilot sees the bug, fixes it, and sends that report after bug fix to your team bugs channel in Slack. And second, what we're gonna do is we'll do a vulnerabilities check where it is connected to our existing Dynatrace environment. It pulls out that data. Now, what it is doing is it pulls out the vulnerability data where Dynatrace is detected using its AppSec module. And then that report will be sent to your security channel with Slack. And this Slack integration, what we have done is it is inbuilt with our Dynatrace MCP server, where we set up a connection in Dynatrace for Slack, and then that connection ID is fed in our environment variable so that our MCP server understands it should connect to that Slack connection itself, which we have configured in Dynatrace. So based on that, it sends a message. Now, third thing with respect to what we are gonna do is it is environment health check. So it checks for the hosts and its health, whether it's a CPU, memory, disk usage. Additional to that, it will also what it do it for us is it sends a report to ops team in Slack, right? And finally, we can ask if we have any service in mind. Right now, what I'm asking is only on Dynatrace MCP server. You can change the name and ask for any other service to send you a report to Slack channel again. That is for a security team or a service team, right? So let's get started. with that. See, I have one script with me. That is, let's take code here under source module. I would say it will be like index.typescript. So what I'll do to start with is I'll use my first prompt for a bug fix, right? So I'll use this prompt and I ask Copilot, which of course we are running our MCP server. So just to confirm, I'll navigate here. Oh, yeah, we are not started it. So I'm starting it. So I started the MCP server. Now I'll change this to agent mode so that it will reload the tools that are available for it. And if you see the tools are available, that is Dynatrace MCP server. It has this Slack integration somewhere here. Yep. Okay. So we will be doing the Slack integration for this. Okay. Sending the Slack message. Now what I'll do, I'll feed the context like we need to tell Copilot that which file needs to be checked for a bug fix or a potential bugs, right? So I'm giving this as a context, and there are some pre-built rules that where I'm feeding Copilot as a context so that it can execute the proper queries, right? And now if I paste this here and let me try to execute it. So I'll just use GPT 4.1 for now. Okay, and in agent mode. Now what I'll do based on the giving the context, I'll give the prompt to it or prompt to Copilot, where Copilot communicates to our Dynatrace MCP server at the time of sending a Slack message. Before what it does is it goes and check for potential bugs in the code index.ts. See, usually earlier in our times, what we used to do as developers was we had to check each and every line for potential bugs, or our security team or a testing team we used to do that. But now GitHub Copilot is doing this for us, right? And sometimes it won't work, and sometimes we have to just try it again by giving the prompt. So let me do that once again. Okay, as you can see, it is doing its job, right? See, sometimes AI, what it does is it loses the context. So we have to reiterate it and tell that to do it again. So this is mostly happens when we start the servers or when we start the VS Code. But later when we get into it, it will automatically do the edits and keep it up to date. So as you can see, it is doing edits for the page index.ts, a TypeScript file. And once the edit is done, it will give me a report of or the summary of what the bug has been fixed here, if there are any bugs. Or even it will give us a suggestions as well, what it can do, right? So based on this, now after fixing the bug, it is sending the message to Slack. And let's see if that works, right? It is sending the message. Let's see. Okay, now it ran. And if I open my Slack here, and see, there is a security report which it is being sent. Let me check. Sorry, it is in the team bugs. If I check here, I can see the update on the bug fix, which line of the code is, and then it will also give me the overall message, like which is the line, what's the bug it has fixed. And it shows all bugs are fixed and updated. And then you can add your name at the end. That's me, Ishrat, and the date as well. This is one way of fixing bugs, and it is so easy. And sending that report to our concerned Slack channels or teams, it's a piece of cake. Automatically with a single prompt, it all did it, right? Now, additionally, we did this part. What about one more thing that what I talked about? Still, we are three tools left, right? And if you check the prompt, let's say the vulnerabilities. Now, this is more related to the Dynatrace existing data related to security, because if, in our Dynatrace, we have this AppSec module. Using AppSec module, we can use this runtime vulnerability protection, where Dynatrace, once you install one agent on your host, it automatically starts detecting the exploits in your code. If your code is being exploited publicly, and if there are any vulnerabilities that it has found, right? So that it detects. And here what I'm doing is I'm telling my MCP server to go and check in Dynatrace for the potential vulnerabilities and send that vulnerability report to my security team, right? So again, for this, what I'll do is I copy the prompt and I'll give the context. Just a moment. Okay. I'll just give the agent rules here to Copilot and add this prompt so that it can take necessary actions and execute proper DQL. Now, once I do that, it first thing what this do is it will check whether any rules are suggested to scan the vulnerabilities. Now, it creates a plan to scan the vulnerabilities, and now it is executing the DQL. It executes the DQL in our Dynatrace environment, which I'm connected to. That is my tenant. There, it gives me the details. It fetches the proper details that it needed and then gets the vulnerability data and sends that to Slack. So let's wait for it. Now it is sending the report to Slack. Right? So once it is done, if I go to Slack here and see my security channel, here is what my bug reports looks like, right? I have high severity top 10 vulnerabilities in my environment. And here we go. It is simple as that, right? We don't have to sit and prepare a report or see what are the major 10 vulnerabilities that are there in my code. I can simply tell MCP server to do that for me. Just imagine doing that in your everyday lives. How easy it's going to be, right? So this is what it works. Now, moving on, this is one is about bug fix and second is vulnerability. There's still two more to go. One more is you can do environment health check, right? Let's say for last 7 days, you want to send a report to your ops team. In such cases, you can certainly do it. You can use the prompt, and I'm just using a prompt to save time and help you more so that Dynatrace MCP server can understand more as well, or copilot associated with it. So you can build your own prompts. It is not mandatory that you have to use this prompt. You can give your own in your own way so that it copilot understands. So now I'm really giving the context and entering the prompt. And now what it is happening is it creates a plan. And again, it goes to Dynatrace, execute the DQL, get the environment related information, then sends that information to Slack channel as well. Okay, so let's wait. It's going to do it. Now see, it is getting the environment information, execute the DQL, and again, it is executing certain DQLs which are needed, maybe for host, memory, CPU, and then it gives us a report for the existing hosts that are there in our environment, right? Let's see now, it is checking the information from the environment. Now it is processing the message and sending that to Slack. And then the Slack message is going to my ops team, right? Now, if I go back to Slack and see my ops channel, here you see your environment health check in last 7 days. Simple as that. It is giving me for all of these hosts and what's the average CPU usage, what's the memory usage, and a link to host you can directly go to so that you don't have to navigate multiple pages and again you have to log into Dynatrace. You can just click on a link and directly it will take you to the particular host. And then if there are any abnormality that Dynatrace observes, that same report will be sent to you in Slack as well. And additionally, it also gives you some recommendations which you can take care of. That is a normal copilot stuff, right? So this is what how it works for the health check. Now, finally, we'll go with service related information, right? So let's say, for example, we have multiple services that are deployed, and in Dynatrace, it is monitored. Currently, what I'm doing is whatever the prompts that I'm giving, I'm monitoring this as a service, which is Dynatrace MCP Server. So what I will tell now to my copilot, which uses MCP, of course, is that take this prompt and check the service health for me. That is Dynatrace MCP server is the service that I have in my environment. Now what it does is it checks the environment and then gives me the result based on the service health. So now I'll use this prompt, and simply what it is doing is it creates a pseudo plan itself. So again, whatever the analysis and the prompts while you are giving, the analysis depends on the model that you are using. Like currently I'm using GPT 4.1, the analysis is like this. If you change your model to Claude, the analysis will be different. That means the context, what it takes and how it interprets is different, but ultimately the output will be same for you. So like a text or a structure of the message in Slack or the beautification of your Slack messages. So these things depends on the model, what you are doing. So which I found GPT 4.1 is better in doing that. So I'm just using it. Again, for code corrections and all those things, Claude do the best. So now if I go back to Slack again here, if you see in the service health, see it has sent the message, right? It has given me the proper message with respect to service health. And now I can see the message is not proper. Now, what I can ask is message is not properly formatted in Slack. I can do the follow up as well. It is not that it's one time activity. Can you format the message correctly more? Okay. Now, what I am doing is I'll just give a prompt. And now what it do is it takes the previous context, what I am doing, and then it will send the message again to Slack. So let's see how it looks this time, right? I was telling GPT is better at formatting messages and it just didn't do it well, right? So let's see this time how it is doing. So we can ask agent or we can ask models to correct itself. It just requires some guidance from our side. So it will take the rest. As you can see, it changed the format and giving us in a proper structured way along with the recommendations. This is what you can do, and your ops or your bug fixes or the reports that you get from environment will become so easier for you. And again, I'm telling this is not at all a tool to replace jobs. It is a tool to help developers to be more productive. Not only developers, any team that uses code reviews, testing team, it's basically DevOps team, right? So you can adapt our MCP server inside your day-to-day life. And if you are a customer of Dynatrace, obviously you can reap all these benefits. It's not only limited to Slack, you can add your own integrations, which is supported, and do the magic. That is the power of agentic AI. So we are in this era, right, where our productivity will become much, much higher when we start using AI agents. So until next time, Thank you so much for joining and watching till here. Let me know if you have any doubts. I will make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a great time. Bye bye.